Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8.6. Again, I want to thank all of the Black Ice team, the old guys that I never even knew or heard of, to the recently sort of moved on to the Black Ice 4 team, Panzeroo, Maverick, and others, as well as my friend Oh My God and what is it, Das Glitch, sorry, I'm butchering your German name. As everyone knows, I do that kind of stuff, so I guess that's no different. But so for making such a great mod that surpasses what the dev team did. It just does that. Okay, battlefield concentration, advanced doctrine. That is here. Battle fleet, I think I said battlefield, but battle fleet. Okay, so we don't have any techs that are currently, because we just stopped that, researching for this. So we need to get interdiction trade to at least 2. So that would be this one. Be able to get unrestricted submarine warfare, which would be useful. So let's do that. Just thinking now, I was wondering if we're going to get the Tirpitz and the Bismarck soon. And I was thinking, well, do I drop it in the Mediterranean or do I drop it out here? And I go, well, I can get it. I can get it the other one because I can send it all the way out and around Africa, probably safe. Well, somewhat safely. Okay, you. Let's send you convoy raiding to here. Convoy raiding passively. Sometimes actually to get them, if you have the patience, to get them to convoy raid like that along a path, and if you go through a bunch of escorts, you can really chew them up. I think I lost somebody there. Did I move them? Oh, I think I may have just moved it down here. You can really get some good hits along there, because I noticed that as people, or subs I should say, leave La Rochelle and come out along here, will just swipe up convoy after convoy after convoy. So it can really help if you have the, I don't know, patience. And part of what is rather good about that is sort of takes the AI a little while to figure out where you're sort of being attacked to try to move in opposition. So unless, now along here sometimes you'll just run into British units that are naturally moving along here, and they'll get, stomped. But excuse me. But normally, if you can do it quickly, you'll snap up a bunch, and they won't have time to react. Okay, so okay, they're coming here. Guess we've killed all this off. Yeah, we're almost there. Yeah, there's some garrison colonial type units. And there we go. Get on board the ship. Oh no, I want to... I'm not, like I said before, I'm not sure that it affects the disembarkation order or invasion order. Invasion. Well, I don't think we're having... Let's see, how are we doing down here? We haven't sunk anybody in a while, so let's move you right about here. Convoy rating, possibly. Because we can they can no longer move stuff through the med, so... Mentioning that, you can see we no longer are sinking anything here. So let's send you down here. Now, don't know, those just may fade in a few days. Also, what I want to do here is, probably should have done it before. No, I sent them over here, didn't I? These guys. Let's send them down here as quickly as possible so that they can deal with any opposition ships. They may want to come out and play with us. Small warship radar advance. Well, that's good. And it's grayed out. Okay. Well, that's nice. It attacks more, but... Yeah, I know I haven't really researched any of those. Okay, good. Looks like we're going ashore. How are we doing versus our enemies? Maybe I should be bringing some regular air down. Too. I'll just maybe start right there where we have ships. Well, you see the first one is the mountain unit. Romania, we give them fuel? Sure. We can have fuel. Okay, let's do that thing that I just said. Let's... Have anybody still over here? Yes. You come down here too. We're going to overstretch your airbase. Oh, wait a minute. Is there a good one down? No, we can't go too far. Okay, Spearhead Doctrine. That is a one and done, but it reduces the frontage width, which helps a lot. Sniper Warfare, do we have a... No, we'll do Sniper Warfare next. Airbase Blueprints Advanced, okay. This is another one of those that I think it helps, but I don't know much about it, quite honestly. I think it fires some of those airbase upgrade, auto upgrade, or random upgrade things or something like that. Yeah, I don't know everything about this game. Okay, you are going to be grounded. Oh, the British are pretty strong there. And I think I picked the right port to attack. Because I'm seeing that. No, well, you guys can start moving down this way, I guess. Don't... oh, I know I have the... Oh, here. Here they are. Okay, we want you to rebase here because you're going to pick up some heavier units to battle these heavier British units. Could try to do an airborne invasion. Well, what's this do? No, this anti-aircraft gun is taking its toll on me. Okay, we have a decision or two. Okay. Yes, I don't think we're using that. Well, not in combat at the moment, but yes, we'll do that. And create the 20th Panzer Division. And as some of these, this one doesn't, some of these do have the, because they are, you know, sort of, they take the personnel from some infantry division to create the unit historically. Because, hey, you know, part of the, you know, they may not, maybe not, because I don't quite honestly know this, but I doubt that any of the, say, whatever infantry division that's being upgraded to a panzer division has any tank drivers. They might have some people they want to send to tank driver school, but I sort of kind of doubt that. But what they do have is infantry that they're going from, you know, just walking infantry to either truck-borne or, you know, mechanized infantry. They have artillery. A lot of times it's still, you know, a lot of the German army used a lot more than we do in this game, motorized transport to tow its artillery. Still may have a lot of wagons. So this is some of the difference, because that's why the semi-motorized is really sort of a bit more historical than people may think, is a lot of the, well, and it's not so much the infantry brigades, though that is, a lot of the artillery was truck drawn. But what made the difference between, say, a motorized infantry division and a regular infantry division, a lot of it, not always, because I definitely know of other cases, and definitely out of early and pre-war photos of artillery being drawn by horses. Trust me, I've seen them. And I presume they continued on to be done. But I see more and more, as the war goes on, trucks towing the artillery pieces. And I think, again, I'm not sure all of the later artillery pieces have pneumatic tires, which you can draw them behind wagons, but it's not normal. What I think the big difference is for like a proper motorized infantry division, they have a lot of extra trucks to, say, tow or transport a lot of artillery shells along with the guns, as well as a lot of the other infantry supporting elements as well, where a more conventional non-motorized division will have the trucks to tow the guns, maybe a few extra trucks, but then the wagons and the other sort of support infrastructure still handles the greater you know, supply usage for the ammo and such. Now if you tow with an artillery piece of the truck, you can have, and they did, have some ammo in the truck or the half-track, you know, in crates there, and that kind of stuff. So they would have certain levels of ready ammunition. It's just sort of the more sustaining day-after-day ammunition. Yeah, at least that's my understanding of how a lot of it worked, and it's probably wrong in some way or another. I don't know what, but... Okay. We can't go any further, so... head back. Oh, lots of stuff just happened. Okay, we got very high popularity. That's good. Our forces in here are battling. Okay. You can go up to there. U-boat sunk. The bastards. Okay. So, minus 10% convoy rating efficiency. That's a good reason to get that unrestricted warfare thing. That would help. Here's Group MIT Commando. Oh, I've been waiting for that. That was here, maybe? No. Let's look for it on the field. I'm guessing it is on the field. Oh, there's too many of these HQs and such that aren't attached anywhere. There we go. Oh, it's way back here. Okay, well, move it out here. And let's put that under there. So now we have south, west, which is sort of actually going south as in the Mediterranean right now, nord, and middle center. Now we also have here a bunch of these that I'm thinking I want to move. Not just leave in Berlin because I won't use them well. Don't forget they're there and want to either create more or not have enough. Because we are slowly getting ready for the big push east. Some of these may end up going to north or south. Okay, Soviet Union, yes, you can sell you supplies. And we have more bumped up in popularity. Well, the regular sort of doctrines were at least 41, or we are researching them. There we go, that will reduce time in between attacks. Yep, I'm just sitting here thinking, looking around. Yeah, let's do that. I think that will, yeah. Use all that we need. No, you're not. You're not having enough struggle to get. Who are you fighting right now? Italy? Oh yeah, you're down here fighting. But that's it. We might not be able to take these guys with this. Okay, infantry unit combined arms, that's good. Here. This is the next sort of combined arms. What to do? Okay, let's see. Capture British equipment. That is a Bren carrier with some Panzerfaust. No, Panzer Sprech, the bazooka-like things, and some Panzerfaust. None of their victory in North Africa, we captured some British military equipment. What should we do with it? We need it. Okay, so it's mostly likely not the good stuff. Jaeger Division. We want to form Jaeger Divisions. Jaeger Divisions form Okay, we want those. I don't know why we wouldn't. Okay, so this is the captured equipment. Okay, just a mixed support battalion and some of that. These guys here. We'll go, yep. Okay, let's see. Ooh, good, 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 good. Yeah, those are really good with those elite light infantry. Hmm. Who do we have to use them? Who's this guy? Von Brosler? Don't know him. Did he get all his traits? Maybe, you know, I think that. I mean, as in, I don't think so, but maybe he did. I don't remember. Got a lot of good commando guys that are Luftwaffe. Oh, Fenn's an armored guy. Combined arms, whatever. Broward's Luftwaffe. Onshurn is rad. What he'd do. Yeah, let's do him. Onshurn. He was a rad general. I gave him a 3. I don't know if that's overdoing it, but the reason well, no, I'm going to send these guys on the Eastern Front, so I'm not going to do that. He has the Jungle Rat because he served with, I keep messing up his name. Sorry. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Von Leto Vorbeck. He served with him down in World War I. That's why I gave him those traits. Based on his prior service. He did not do any World War II service, though. So I decided I want to save him. Oh, Hill Country guy? Yeah, okay. No, though he does have that old guard. Let's see, well, dig in bonus, okay, just offensive. Well, he's not very good. No, I want an attack guy. Sorry, no, I want a guy who's going to attack, and I want a real general, not these fake keyboards. Yeah, I know it really doesn't matter, but I just want I want what I want. Okay, a river crosser. That'd be cool. Okay. Oh, there's a command. Oh, there's some more commandos that are army. Commander text. We'll give it to. Okay, these is really good, but I think I'm pretty sure we're going to want to use them here. Lots of good swamps and jungles and cities to need to take. Now, I did send this over here. And I did rename it from Infantry Division to Jaeger Division. Here, this. As you can see, it's a 161st Infantry Division, but since I'm going to give it Jaeger equipment, yeah, these guys right here. Okay. I think we're going to send him down here. Not as good as the other ones with all that. Okay, we need more. And because we're bouncing negative, let's, just because of various event things. There's a bunch more Jaeger divisions, so keep hitting that. Here's what I'm going to do here. Got all these guys now. And I'm going to give them... okay. These three I'm going to send down here to occupy some of these for the eventual presumed American landings. They should fight well there. And these guys I send somewhere else, maybe to India or something. Okay, well, let's see. I'll rename these some other time. Well, we have the headquarters, so I don't want to build them again. And, yeah, okay, you know, they're still the 170th Division, they're just Jaegers instead of infantry. Kind of thing. Ah, these divisions here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, they're full. Just wondered if they had a spot left to give those two amphibious arbor units to it. No, I don't want to give up the anti-tank function. Yeah, guess not. Anything else I want to deploy? No, not deploy right now. Okay, well, you're exhausted, so you go back up to here. Do we have some more people here? Yes, you come down here. There's no more anything for you to naval strike up there. Come down here. I just got the Royal Mini Cavalry joining this group. Yeah, I know you got anti-aircraft guns. It's part of the problem here. Wonder if it'd be better to come in on one of these other provinces. Yeah. Okay, we're going to stop, and we're going to cancel this order here. You guys go back to here. Rebase to here. Okay, you come out here. Let's see if we can get... Yeah, they already picked up somebody here. See if they can come out to here. Yep. If they can come out to here. Yeah. Good. Oh, what now? Okay. Oh, good. I'm looking for this. Yes. We're gonna do medium fleet again. We'll leave some for fishing again. That should give us Oh, wrong button. I really didn't care about these. I got plenty of those, but we'll get those produced. It was all these motor torpedo boats, and torpedo boats is what I really wanted. Now also we want these up top too. Yeah, we really wanted these guys. I want them. These in here. Okay, send the 15th Panzer Division to Libya. Sure. Any good? Jaeger, Panzer Leader. Okay, that's good. Ah, here we go. That's some of the specialized DAC units. Good. Wanted a few of those. Okay, now. Well. I want to send you, well, to here maybe? And you sort of out here. You can help with partisan reduction. Now, okay, let's put you on board the ship. Let's go with Von Thomas. Sort of super commando type. They're not super powerful, but, you know, not like they have heavy. You do have the heavy anti-aircraft, but they're not like they have heavy tanks or anything, but they are sort of rough terrain type. Oh, they're good. Okay. Yeah, you'll need to rebase. We're producing a surplus there. Okay, how do supplies look down here? Pretty good. Now, do we have a... This is... No, that isn't Addis Ababa. Or that is... No airbase there. Okay. Let's look at the air map. That will help out a little bit. Not much. Looking for a... Oh, the British are moving in here. Okay. Down here. Oh, there's a lot of guys in that. What I'm thinking about doing is doing my next invasion over here. And then... doing any air supply needed via the air, or supply needed via the air. Yeah, we've got lots of auxiliaries sitting up in Germany, so auxiliary crew. Oh, let me continue to do that one. See, all these guys are up there, so let's do this down here. That'll be helpful. Who is this? No, we want a blockade run if we're going to have somebody. There we go. Somebody stole our blueprints. Okay, well. I know this isn't funny to probably anybody else but me, but... Okay, Colonel von Strom. Colonel Kurt von Strom has been sent as commander to command the occupation of Nouvion and the area around it. He and his loyal aide, Captain Hans Goering, must keep the peace to Allow the German army to mass troops in the east. Okay, moving on. So, oh damn. Damn. Something's wrong there. I'm going to have to look at that some other time. It's a Nouveau garrison unit. This is my mod and something's wrong. This is sort of why I wanted to play it, because I haven't played it in a long time. Don't know if it's my coding or just things have changed with Black Ice, that it relied on something that isn't there anymore. I'll have to check that out. And the unit functions just fine, so if you happen to be playing it, it just, what it is it shows up like that when the center graphic that's supposed to be there isn't there. So it could be a typo in something. And it's a unique unit. It isn't a unit that is used anywhere else. So we give them fuel for money, sure. So I don't know what exactly the problem with that is. But as you can see, it has Colonel von Strom. He is skill level 0, and that's about his skill level. You can't do a minus skill level. If I could, I would for him. But he is a not that good of a military leader. Yeah, I know, it's only really funny for me. Okay, give them money for... okay. Sort of have to watch the series to understand it. And the jokes or whatever sort of come in a bit, but... and they're sort of spread out to happen over years, not just like in a few months. Well, right now, I don't know of any particular offensive operations to be doing, so let's just keep the clock moving. We've got these guys coming to reinforce whatever we invade with. Okay, strike of 100,000. This is interesting. Striking was the most common form of passive resistance in Belgium, and often took place on symbolic dates such as May 10 May or whatever, anniversary of the German invasion, 21 July, National Day, 11th November, anniversary of the German surrender in World War I. The largest was the so-called Strike of 100,000, which broke out on May 10, 1941 in the Cockatrill Steel Works in Sering. News of the strike spread rapidly, and soon at least 70,000 workers were on strike across the province of Liège. Liège is sort of the main armaments region in Belgium, and is still one of the major armaments regions in the world. The Germans increased workers' salaries by 8%, and the strike finished rapidly. Future large-scale strikes were repressed by Germans, though further important strikes occurred November 42 and February 43. Okay, how interesting. So we have local... okay, well, that's messing with us. Not good. Okay, SS motorized. It's there too, but no longer screen. Getting the right screen would be good. Okay, well, that's sort of good enough for now. Let's see here. Let's do this. Yes, this will give us more SS motorized units. We are stacking up a huge number of units around Germany. It's almost sort of pathetic. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all. And of course I can just say not to form them and save myself a little bit of manpower or whatever. So we're getting these huge stacks. These are the airborne units. So I guess I can drop in airborne core as an invasion tactic. Hey, yeah, 508 HQs are all landing on you. Okay, so there's the SS motorized army there. Okay. I'm waiting for this guy to get a little better organized. So I think their speed in landing is they can get ashore in enough time. Now I sent them over here, I believe, and I want to move this because that's just slow. And no leader. Let's move you down here. I know we're going to overstretch this little air base here. We can get rid of you. That will help out. We don't need to ground attack anymore there. Okay, assault concentration advance. That's good. There we go. We'll stop that. And radar advance. Okay, that would be here, so we'll stop that. It allows development of here, but that's sort of way in the future technology. Okay. But radar efficiency and provincial area efficiency has improved. Now, that's all, well, fairly up to date. There we go, okay. Okay, so this is, I'm sure you all sort of know about it. Rudolf Hess' attempt to become relevant again, I would say. You know, I talked about it in the recent Black Ice Hearts of Iron 4 series for some more detail and going into some of the occult reasons behind all of it that I believe are somewhat important. Okay, let's see. On May 11, 1941, Darlan, he's this guy, he's a French admiral of some sort, met Hitler at his mountain retreat in Berchtesgaden. Hitler told Darlan that while Germany had or was certain to win the war, it was to France's advantage to collaborate with the Reich. Hitler made a tit-for-tat proposal. Any concessions or assistance made by France would be matched by an equal level by Germany. Results was the Protocols of Paris, in which Vichy made concessions that allowed German military uses of facilities in its colonies, Syria, airfields, Tunisia, the port of Baritza to supply Rommel's Africa Corps. As you can sort of tell, that this May 11th is well before U.S. entry into war and the other landing, so it wasn't part of that yet, but it was to come over to have shorter transports, I think, like across from here, than going by Malta is what I think that was particularly why that was done. Senegal, submarine facilities at Dakar. In return, Germany would repatriate 6,000 skilled French workers in POW camps, reduce occupation costs from 20 million Reichsmarks to 15 million Reichsmarks, and ease travel restrictions between the occupied and unoccupied zones. Paris protocols are considered the high point of Vichy France's collaboration with the Nazis, but Delon wanted still better terms, and ultimately the protocols lapsed. Okay, signed the Paris protocols. Okay, so what happens here if we do this? Relation between Vichy France and Germany improved by 20. Good. Germany, or Vichy, gains 8,000 manpower and 1,000 money, basically. And we lose 1,000 money, bummer. And Vichy France will grant Germany military access. Okay. Guess we don't really have a choice in that, but okay. Soviet Union, I think, wants supplies. Yes, good. That will help us out. Part of this is that we keep getting hit with big supply penalties for events, and it's putting us in a negative position, so some of the other income stops. Now we have over income is what this is. Okay, Henel. The MKB-42H. Obviously, as you can tell from the image, we're talking about assault weapons. The company CJ Henel Waffen und Fahrradfabrik is developing a machine and carabiner for the Heereswaffen Amt. Famous designer Hugo Schmeitzer led the Henel development team, which produced the first working prototypes of the new weapon by 1942. Remember, they had this round, back in, late 39, 40, something like that, but they didn't have a particular working gun for it yet. In accordance with the specifications, the new weapon inherited several features from the MP-47 machine gun, such as left side charging handle with a slot safety and magazine housing with a button release. Because of the new weapon had to be made with maximum usage of stamped and welded, using the stamping and weldings. Henel was joined by Maltz Work, a company with no knowledge of firearms, but a great deal of experience in steel stamping and forming. The MKBH-42H was a gas-operated selective fire. It used long stroke gas piston located above the barrel in a long gas tube. The barrel locking is achieved by tipping the rear part of the bolt down into the locking recess cut into the mechanism steel insert in the stamped receiver. That's like one way it sort of tips into it. Other types of locking mechanisms, so it's sort of like the bolt rotates and goes in. Another thing just to sort of do that. The gun fires from an open bolt at all times, meaning that even in semi-auto fire, the problem with that is, because it's coming from a sort of a submachine gun, is that when you pull the trigger, the bolt flies forward, and then it so you can see me doing it with my hands, describing how it's doing it, but flies forward, and the firing pin is fixed on that bolt and it fires. But the problem is even in semi-auto fire, that sort of puts a downward jerk on the weapon. Now in full auto, that's not a real it's not a real big problem in submachine guns, because they're generally full auto only or select fire, but the bolts are fairly lightweight with a fairly lightweight spring behind them, so it's normally not that big of a problem. And in full auto bursts, it's also not that big of a problem, and maybe even a help, because we'll give a initial counter reaction to the recoil that's going to happen. But in semi-auto, or single fire, it really messes up your aim, especially with a heavy bolt. Safety slot in the rear, charging handle. Okay. So which, okay, where, oh, the gunfire is from open bolt, and the only safety is the MP40 type slot cut at the rear of the charging handle slot, in which the charging handle can be hooked whether the bolt is open or when the bolt is open. I've sort of had to try to make it all text fit, so I ran some things together. The cross bolt type fire mode selector is located above the trigger guard. The MK42H could be fitted with a standard bayonet and had a wooden butt. Okay, so it'll take a rifle standard. And that just, oh, also just so you realize, the rifle barrel is the lower one, because they were talking about is the gas piston is along the top of this, and it has a gas tap somewhere up in here to make that work. And that's how that works. So we can support development, some supplies. It'll put us in the negative again, or not. Well, so what I'm going to do here is leave this open. Well, let's shift this. Come on, come on. Just another day, another day. I want another bunch of supplies so we don't go into the red again. We're selling too many supplies as it is in the Soviet Society. Oh, that even got worse. Oh well. Division HQs have advanced. Okay, reduce attack reduce time between attacks by 7 hours. And that's 42, but we'll continue to push with that technology. My mania for lots of attacks. Okay. We got this guy, and okay, well, we're going to be battling right now against whatever it is. And he died. Okay. Okay, got some of those. Well, I'm just kicking lots of supplies over there for right now. We'll go back to it, but I want to make sure that we got... I think there's a lot of supplies in the supply system. Wild and crazy there. Okay, still not very good. And we're maybe not doing so well for supplies either. Too much is here. Okay. Let's load you on board a ship. Let's load you on board a ship. Let's see if this different order makes any difference in landing. Orders. Blitzkrieg Doctrine has advanced. That is good. Okay, well, so let's go with this 1940s technology. Yeah, these guys will come soon. Yeah, let's see this. Guess there isn't a battle, so I don't know which one's first and which one's second. And I have airborne supply there. They're trying to react. The cavalry might get there in time to block me, but I don't think the garrison units will. Home front focus advance. Now this could kill my divisions. This is right. Yes, okay, good. Manpower reduction is the big problem with that, but we aren't doing so well. When I'm at a 900 plus, I'm fairly comfortable. Well, let's do casualty trick back. Oh, manpower increase for medicine. Cool. That would be a good one. Yes, I'm trying this with a slightly disrupted mountain division. But then these are Arabs that are, I just gotta presume, that aren't some sort of great warrior group. Okay, well. Let's send you away because we're, well, except I hope they're running supplies in through here too. I hope they're supplying everywhere. Yeah, you come down here. Let's push too far beyond yours. We're trying to get out of this damn desert. Okay. This is mostly just, I guess, clean up in here. We can't go there. Okay. Ah, yes. German customers. Rene must serve the German occupiers to keep his business open. He is quite popular with the Germans, and most of the town still visits his cafe. He serves good wine, good food, bad music performed by his wife, Edith. You gotta fix that one, Edith. Okay. So just telling you the story of Cafe Rene. Okay, you get on board vessel and do a naval invasion here. Let's see how well you do against this. I do want to secure the port. Not so well. So you stop invading. You know, I could have added you to it. That would have helped, but we were having the... And they're now counterattacking, and they lost because I didn't overcommit myself and reduce my organization by enough for them to take me out. Okay, what technology do we just research? Okay, asymmetric warfare. Good, that will help. Yes, as you can see, it'll help. A lot of it, infantry types, defend, and attack, and different rough terrain type things. Okay, shift that over here for better fighters. Let's drive after the desert, out in the desert here. It looks like they mostly have HP. Well, there's a garrison. Invasion. Okay, torpedo auto-loading system. Okay, good, so we can now more rapidly, maybe? Not exactly sure if rapid is the right term, but maybe just fewer men. Manpower cost down for loading torpedoes. Good, we'll do pressure hull thickness. Okay. Lieutenant Gruber. Lieutenant Gruber is sent to Nuvion with reinforcements of his little tanks. Basically, it's these armored cars. He fancies Rene, who is clearly the sexiest man in France. If you remember what he looks like, it's sort of the joke, or one of the jokes. And is that also? No, that works. Okay, that works. That's a unique unit. Notice it's just a small. I don't know why this is supposed to be a garrison division. And I mean, this is Gruber's little tanks, and it's a pretty weak unit, and it's unique, and so it isn't going to upgrade to anything. It's not part of, and he has skill level 1. He's better than his boss, and he's an offensive doctor, so he's good. This is just a garrison unit that I think has moved on or something it's supposed to, but I'll see if I can correct that. So Lieutenant Gruber and his little tanks. Yeah, longer. We'll receive supplies, maybe because we've been messing this up badly. Okay, 4-engine bomber crew layout has improved. Again, the main reason I'm doing that is for the flying boat and nav air improvements. Again, I really like what Black Ice is doing. Instead of doing, you know, obviously this is the same tech path for the US, and so the US or Germany or Japan can have all the same techs and all the same stuff, and that is a fine and good philosophy for the game. I want to stress that. I can't stress that enough. It is a fine and good philosophy for the game. Why would you force or have to force, say, Japan to make its historical mistakes, if you will? Now, the other good and valuable, and I personally prefer, not that I think it's better, but my personal preference is sort of the historical models with some historical alternative models, and a good example of that would be is the Germans, and it basically I think just got to a wooden mock-up stage. I don't know, full size or just a model stage of what a German version of the T-34 would look like. So we could sort of hypothesize a German T-34 type vehicle that would be cheaper than the Panther tank and all of its complexities to build. In some ways we can argue about where it would be more effective and less effective as a tank than the Panther, but would give Germany a good, cheap, or cheaper to produce, mass-produced tank to fight the Soviets. And that, so since their minds did come to that, and I have entries in the books and photos in the book so I can make the events, and we can guess at its effectiveness, because obviously they only made wooden mock-ups, so how thick would have the armor been? You know, obviously the Germans increased thickness of tank arm, you know, for a tank model over time. So, and we may have some stats of the initial conception of it. So we're guessing, but we're not presuming that, you know, something that never crossed their mind. The Japanese bought a Panther tank. I think it was the Japanese ambassador in Berlin bought a Panther tank that he was going to have shipped to Japan. This is obviously late enough in the war for the Panthers, because he wanted the Japanese to reverse engineer it to at least a degree. And obviously it was never sent. I think eventually it was reconfiscated by the Germans for the defense of Berlin or something. I never read exactly what happened to it, but I just sort of presume. Or the Japanese gave it back. But they paid the money for it, and we thought that at some point they were going to be able to put it on board a ship or something and smuggle it to Japan, and so the Japanese could have a better tank. But I personally wouldn't allow the Japanese to have access to the full tank tree, like either dynamically. Again, that's my personal taste. Not that it's bad. Not that if the Japanese player, and maybe I'm playing as Japan at some time, I'll want to research all the tank techs. I may want to do that. But what I would like to do, for personally, what I would like the most would be to go through the historical possibilities that they made, go through the historical options that they were thinking about, whether prototype tanks or stuff that they did on drawing boards or wooden mock-ups. And then you go, well, what about the Japanese buying the Panther? Well, let's have that maybe unlocked once the Germans unlock it, and control Cairo, control a few places, Singapore, so that there would be a reasonable possibility of putting it on board a ship, along with the plans. I don't think the Germans were going to, because they're selling them the tank to go to Japan, we're going to hide the plans, but they sort of wanted it as a not reverse engineering. You could just do that from the plans, obviously, but they sort of wanted the Japanese, or the Japanese ambassador thought that they needed to have the tank models to drive it around to see how it sort of worked and all of that stuff, and then go, okay, and reverse engineer it, I think, in the way so as they weren't necessarily building the German Panther tank, they were building a Japanese version of it, like they did with a lot of the jets. The Kike or the Kiku or whatever, maybe they were both, the jet sort of fighters. They resembled and had a lot of similarities to like the Me-262, but there were slight differences, and I don't know how different or the same the actual jet engines were, but just from looking at some of the models that people have made, as well as, because they did make some of them test bed things, they were going to have a slightly different body. There was going to be slight differences, but it was based on the German technology. The Japanese wouldn't have gotten anywhere near what they did without looking at the Japanese or at the German developmental plans. So I don't think they ever got a 262 to Japan to look at. But so those are only, in my opinion, unlocked once Germany unlocks its jet techs. Maybe some Japanese wartime naval aviation expert could point to simultaneous development, and that they would have obviously, because the Japanese aren't stupid, given enough time, if they were already going down that road, they would have got there within the time frame of 1940 to 1947 or something like that. Even if the Germans never went to any jet technology, maybe you can point to that. I personally doubt it, but that's just my personal doubts, not any secure knowledge. So I would have sort of conditional unlocks like that to have Japan do a bit more, I don't know, crazy what ifs, because obviously if Japan was just going to decide to do a major land war against the Soviet Union, having a Panther type tank would be really good, especially with the Japanese, with their sort of failure against some of the earlier Soviet models, and then seeing because they did have, and I have some photos of Japanese military attaché types visiting the front and seeing what was going on, realizing what the T-34 and the KV series were. The Japanese are realizing that obviously if you're going up there, the sort of lighter, weaker armor, that's okay to shoot up a bunch of Chinese infantry units, and maybe what you want to move around rugged terrain in jungle islands that are sort of, like I was talking about, how bad the Renault 35, R-35 tanks were, that the Germans sort of successfully used in anti-partisan warfare, because it was sort of light and maneuverable, had thick armor compared to an anti-tank rifle or anything super light running around Yugoslavia against partisans. It worked. Similarly, running around some of these islands, having light tanks would work. Start falling apart a bit once the Americans get bazookas and things, but still, Tigers would be awesomely bad, in this terrain. So what are you going to do? Maybe not use tanks at all, but if you are going to use tanks, light tanks are sort of it. So for some of what the Japanese were doing, I don't think tanks were bad in that sense, but going against the Soviets, no. So that's how I would personally do it. But since we have this technology here, and since some of it is required to unlock other parts of it and things, so we're going to do it. That's again why I keep coming back, and because I know I'm talking with this series a lot to Hearts of Iron 3 players, and I'm not, and I'll tell you right now, I'm not trying to convince you tomorrow to start playing Hearts of Iron 4, because if you really like this, and whether you've tried or not tried the new Black Ice, obviously you can see me play it. You can see all the sort of craziness on my other current series a while ago. Hungary starts justifying war against Yugoslavia. In the meantime, Yugoslavia joins the Comintern, so Hungary gets this war justification and then goes through with it and is at war with the Soviet Union and the Comintern, and then eventually they asked me to join, so now I'm at war in a winter war with the Soviet Union. God, that's stupid. That doesn't happen with this version of Black Ice. Now, this is partly a Hearts of Iron 4 problem. This is partly Black Ice is still very much in its early stages for Hearts of Iron 4. That's okay. Again, I'm not trying to convince you to move now, because I don't think for most of you who are still doing this are ready for it, or it's not ready for you, however you want to look at that. But I'm, again, trying to convince you that eventually I think it's going to be better than this. May not be everything we want, but it'll be better than this. That's my belief, based on what I observed so far. Okay, twin engine transport plane. Okay, that'll increase the range, and we want to increase the range, so we'll do that, even though it's pushing ahead technologically. Okay, I want to go, come on, get down here. Come on, we're getting a shortcut. No. You're at war with the British down in Ethiopia. Good, fine. I support that. Obviously, I am supporting that by winning the Battle of Sana, which is distracting all of the... Well, some of them went some other place. Guarding the border out here, maybe? Okay. I'm not attacking you there. Not invading here. So... Okay. Let's send the Mountain Division in here with the mechanized Marine unit, and yet we'll drive in the support of... Okay, and yes, we're getting to the end of this episode here. I just want to keep playing. Money from raw materials. No, okay, SS Norge. Okay, this rivalry between Terboven, that's the guy who was sitting for some reason with his hat in his lap, and Quisling, the guy wearing black without a hat, continued over the nature of Norway's future. Quisling, strong nationalist, wanted Norway to be an independent nation after the war, and in mid-41, Terboven and the Minister of Police, Joseph Lai, I like Lai better, but got together and set about the formation of a Norwegian political SS contingent behind Quisling's back. Because remember, Quisling sort of had his own Quislings that, you know, I really haven't looked. I read a few things about him, but not recently. Just remembering a book I have, Foreign Legions of the Third Reich. I have that series of books. It's an old series, but it's a good series. It's not a novels. It's books on uniform and units. And so he had his own sort of party militia type outfits already. The Quiz, or whatever, I forget what they were called. On May 21st, 1941, the Norwegian political was established and called Norway's SS, Norge SS in German. On that day, Reichsfuhrer Heinrich Himmler flew to Oslo, where he was met by Reichskommissar Quisling. Disgruntled, or Terboven, a disgruntled Quisling, because this is the actual photo from the event. There's obviously Himmler sort of sitting in between the two. And a number of senior SS and Wehrmacht officers, these guys in the back. I identified some of the uniforms, so I know that they're both there. That is maybe Falkenhurst or somebody who's in charge of military of Norway or something. Right there. Officers, and then taken to the national Schamling's party, that's house. The ceremony opened with a speech by Risker's chief of staff, Ovar Shanther, whatever. who spoke to his former, Hild men, that's the Quisling's people. See, I knew this at one point when I wrote this, that had volunteered to be the first aspirants to the new Norwegian SS. Okay, so we're going to expand the SS. I didn't give you an option just because I figured you'd want it, because it was just going to be free. Sinking of the Robin Moore. Okay. Like I said, after this we're going to end the episode, whatever these events go through. May 1941, the Robin Moore, carrying 9 officers, 29 crewmen, 8 passengers, and a commercial cargo from New York to Mozambique via South Africa without a protective convoy. The ship held items of every conceivable description, including over 450 autos, trucks, steel rails, tools, agricultural chemicals, over 48,000 U.S. gallons, give the number of liters if you're European, of lubricant in drums, cases of shotgun shells, a few 22 caliber rifles designed for sporting goods stores. On 21 May, the ship was stopped by a German submarine, the U-69, in the tropical Atlantic, 750 miles west of British-controlled Port Freetown. And Sierra Leone, here is Sierra Leone, so it's somewhere out in here. Just to give you a general position of it, I didn't write this, I'm just going by what I'm seeing here. It's a cool event, nice picture. Freetown, Sierra Leone. After a brief period for the ship's crew and passengers to board her 4 lifeboats, the U-boat fired a torpedo at the rudder and then shelled the vacated ship at the bridge. As a reaction, the U.S. government froze German assets on June 12th. Then on 14th June, the State Department required Germany and Italy to close all their consulates in the United States except for their embassies, prompting Germany to issue the same directive in the United States in return. The U.S. demanded reparations from Germany without success. So, the U.S. loses more neutrality and messes our relationship up even more. That was a stupid move by the German submarine captain, because I'm believing this is true, in that the Germans were probably very nice and, like you say, let them all get on board the lifeboats, and they probably all got to carry their, their bundle of sailors' possessions, and whatnot. I'm presuming it all went as as smoothly as can be for that type of an operation, and I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing that the U-boat's crewmen and captain or whatever were pleasant and nice as can be in the situation with the situation there. But if it was going from New York to Mozambique, and it's from New York to neutral Portugal, yes, they may be put on a train or a truck, and those lubricating oil drums might have gone into the South African armaments industry or something, which they really didn't have at that time. But whatever that is, that was a stupid move by the Germans, by that captain. Okay, well, that's going to end. Oh, I wanted to show off. Oh, that's the sort of end thing here. Okay. Now we have, oh, did we? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. We got to let the, I think the other one disappears. Yes, the other one disappeared. So the other SS Higher Headquarters is gone now, replaced with this one, because I wanted to expand it from just the headquarters to now the police battalion, and I wanted to put this new guy in charge. The other guy, I didn't kill him in the game. I forget his name. The guy who wrote the SS family book. He is replaced by Redress. It's a double S at the end there, or whatever. Because the other guy goes home for a vacation. I forget which city. Hanover, I don't know, Dortmund, Dusseldorf, Cologne, or wherever, and gets bombed by the Allies and dies. So that SS officer dies in the bombing. But I didn't kill him off in the game because who knows that Britain at this time was going to be bombing whatever cities, because maybe you had invaded and conquered it, or maybe he didn't take that vacation, or whatever you want to say. So I didn't force his death, but I did change command. And now you also have just the headquarters of the Norwegian SS, Norwich SS, it was called. So it's going to continue to develop, not necessarily the top thing here, but we're going to continue to develop. So now we have better occupational status. Now, of course, since this was annexed instead of occupied, these aren't as important because we're not suppressing it. But I presume sometimes you'll invade and it will just be occupied, so this will be very useful. If you want to flood up more SS, SD units, be my guest. That's sort of what I was doing originally, but there will be continued developments on this of the Norwegian SS. Okay, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. If you would, it does help, please. Thanks. And of course, please post questions, comments, suggestions, ideas, corrections to anything that I may get it wrong here below. Love that. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.